I would like to start with the introduction. Women's participation in the labor force shows the importance and contribution of women to economic productivity. Hence, the need for occupational health and safety policy covering women workers. In the light for many research studies conducted for women workers and their work condition, there is a need for policy and advocacy work towards protection to their health as well as provision of good labor conditions. This is even more pressing with the feminization of the labor force in the country. Adradin and Eschelagas noted the feminization of workforce in industry in the Philippines, specifically in garment manufacturing, microchips, computerized manufacturing, and electronic industry operating inside export processing zones. They reported certain occupational risks and disbenefit to these women workers, including low salaries and deficient enforcement of health and safety regulation. The Philippines has a relatively young population and young workforce. In 2009, 25 to 30 years old employed person accounted for 45% of the total number of employed person. This was followed by person at age 20 to 24 years. Employed male and female workers in early 2010 represent 21.6 and 15 billion of the total workforce respectively. Both women and men workers experience occupational hazard, but women are more vulnerable to occupational hazards. For instance, women workers in the electronic and garment industry are subjected to extend and intensified work, manifesting the phenomenon called work intensification and work extensification. In the case of women migrant workers, they are subjected to sexual and physical abuses and maltreatment from their employees. Additionally, women workers face double hazard from both the work and household responsibilities, thus increasing their vulnerability to occupational illness. Even in other countries, there are various hazards and consequent adverse health effects that confront women workers. In Bangladesh, the export-oriented garment industry created a feminized labor force employing about 500,000 young women. The job condition in the factories was far from perfect or even normal. It was characterized by low wages, unsafe work environment, overwork, and lack of job. Those in video display terminals reported video blues consisting of syndrome of eyes problems. On the other hand, some of the problems encountered by Indian women in the workplace included burden of the dual role of household and public work, sexual harassment, lack of solidarity among women, and the need to exert double time to gain the same recognition as the male counterpart. In Malaysia, report of mass hysteria among women workers in which information technology is central makes women vulnerable position in the labor force more precarious. Other studies also show that certain hazards can lead to some form of occupational illness. For instance, exposure to physical hazards such as noise and shift work among pregnant women was associated with lesser birth weight. And a 28-year-old woman was killed in Saturday night incident at the Western Sugar Corporation factory in Lavelle. Was the problem that we are investigating. Official K. Galationov of the Denver area was killed after falling into a lift station that carries sugar beef into the factory. Bighorn Country Sheriff Camp Blackburn to told the Lavelle Chronicles. Emergency responders summoned to the facility at 9 p.m. Saturday after Galationov went missing. Worked through the night to recover the factory employee body from the water system. The Sheriff Office and the Occupational Health and Safety Administration are investigating the workers' death at its Western Sugar itself. The company called it as a sad day. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family for those impacted employees, said Ken Winner, a spokesman for Western Sugar at its Denver headquarters. We continue to be committed to the working cooperative with all the authorities to identify and resolve outstanding issues. The company said in a Monday afternoon statement its focus is on supporting its employees, including offering counseling to Lavelle plant workers and comforting the family of the deceased. And I would like to talk about the percentage of work incident spectators in the world. The majority of incidents happen in the world for the women, which is construction sites for 36%, and sanitation for 14%, repair and maintenance for 10%, coal mining for